John McLaughlin was the team's resident sharpshooter, sinking shots routinely from distances that would have counted as three-pointers had the line existed.
I just thought about this. They averaged 118 points in 1971 with no three-pointers. What's the deal, family? Welcome back to the channel. Today we got another banger for y'all, man. So look, we got Making the Case. 1971 Bucks. Already about to run this up one time for the one time, man. And we going through all the teams right now, if you don't know. We recently did, let me see what we do first. We did the Lakers first. My favorite team of all time, the 2001 Lakers, man. Make sure to go check out that video. It doesn't got the views it deserves. And if you're a Kareem fan, then you should be a Laker fan just a little bit. So make sure to go tap in with that 2001 Lakers video. And then recently I also dropped the Making the Case for the 86 Celtics. Make sure to go tap in with that. Of course, that got the views it deserves. I think next I got the Lakers, like the 86 or 87 Lakers, I think is next. But either way, that's going to be dropping in a few days from now, so be on the lookout for that. I also did the Making the Case for all the players, LeBron James, Kareem, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, all that. So make sure to go check out those. I did those maybe a year and a half ago. Go tap in over there. Let's get into this one, man. The only thing I know about the 71 Bucks is Kareem and Oscar Robertson. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's all I really know. I was born in 93. This is 71. So we probably going to learn a lot of shit today. All right, let's get to it. Making the case for the 1971 Bucks as the greatest team of all time. Let's get it.
But not just to win individual games. The ultimate goal is to win a championship. Of course, basketball is a team sport. Championships are won by the most complete, most inspired team. Every champion deserves credit, but the question on my mind is, who's the greatest team of all time? With apologies to Bill and Wilt, I have a list of 8 teams since 1970 that I want to look at as having a claim to that distinction. It is a loaded question, and one that I ultimately can't answer. Is it the teams that were frontrunners from beginning to end? The ones who were unbeatable at their peak? Maybe the ones who tapped into something special and overcame countless obstacles. There is no right answer. It's your job to make your own call. And it's my job to make the case. So today, I'll be making the case for the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks as the greatest basketball team of all time.
Let's go! Let's go! Hey, this is what I want y'all to do. In the comments, if you want, name your top 3 to 5 teams of all time, or just name your greatest team of all time in the comments. Let me know, all right?
Why don't we talk about the 71 Bucks? We talk about so many teams when the idea of best team ever comes up. And sure, it depends on your age. Most people would be a lot more excited to talk about the 04 Pistons than the 65 Celtics. But there's a handful of usual suspects that get thrown around in the conversation. Bird's Celtics, Magic's Lakers, Jordan's Bulls, and so on. Not the Bucks. But why not? They had a regular season record of 66-16, a 12-2 playoff record.
66-16, 12-2 in the playoffs. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not mad at that. 66-16. That means they only played what? 76. No, they still played 82 games. Yeah.
And remain one of the most statistically impressive teams of all time. They were one of the most efficient teams ever, with a then record 51%.
They had 118 points per game in 71? We can't overlook that, dog. 118 points per game in 1971, bro. Like, if you don't know basketball, then you probably just like, oh, whatever, 118. That is crazy. That is insane, bro. And they shot 50% from the field. 118.
Field goal percentage.
Sky hook.
Every starter averaged double-digit points.
Mr. Triple Double and Mr. Sky Hook, the unstoppable shot. I mean, I guess you can't be mad at it.
Points and all shot at or over 50% from the field. Their roster was composed of Hall of Famers Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson, should-be Hall of Famer Bob Dandridge, sharpshooter John McLaughlin, and productive essential role players like Greg Smith, Bob Boozer, and Lucius Allen.
Okay, I know Kareem and Oscar. I've never heard of none of these guys. But I do know who Lou Alcindor is, though.
The team won the championship.
Oh, Lou Alcindor is Kareem? I was born in 93. Sorry, I'm going to stop pausing.
In just its third year of existence, the fastest an expansion team has ever won an NBA title. They checked all the boxes, won a ton of games, took home the chip, and had a loaded lineup. So why don't we talk about the 71 Bucks? Well, for starters, because they played in the 70s. It is said that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saved basketball in the 1980s, ushering in a golden age for the sport. But you can't save a game unless it's in need of saving. The 70s as a whole are remembered as the dark ages of basketball, a forgotten era marked by a nationwide loss of interest in the sport. For one, money had an adverse effect on the product. Contracts were finally becoming lucrative enough that some around the league were enjoying living lavish lifestyles first and playing basketball second. In addition, the ABA, founded in 1967, split the talent pool between the two leagues for nearly a decade.
Yeah.
Spectacular players like Rick Barry, Artis Gilmore, Spencer Haywood, George McGinnis, and of course, Dr.
Julius
J,
Erving.
all spent considerable time playing in the ABA. And, as if the 70s didn't already have enough going against it, expansion diluted the existing talent pool in the NBA even further. From 1967 to 1974, the league introduced 8 new teams. These new teams assembled rosters through expansion drafts, pilfering the rosters of existing teams and making meaningful roster depth nearly impossible. A number of things also happened to the Bucks, which, though totally outside of their control, contribute to the glossing over of their achievements. In their second-round matchup against the Lakers, both Elgin Baylor and Jerry West missed the entire series. The Bucks lucked out with their finals matchup because the second-best team in the league, the New York Knicks, were upset by the 42-40 Baltimore Bullets. And that same Baltimore Bullets team was already suffering from a plague of injuries, especially to all-star forward Gus Johnson. And the number one reason that nobody talks about the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks as the greatest team of all time is because they were boring. And I mean boring. As I researched this team and scoured the archives, I was waiting to find that one story, that one anecdote that would breathe life into this team and reveal some forgotten ideal that they represented. I didn't find it. The most revelatory quote I found about the team, the one that really summed them up, was from a Sports Illustrated article published a few days after the team won the championship. Kareem said of the team and of head coach Larry Costello, "Larry, Oscar, and I have the same ways about us. We agree that being as efficient as possible cuts down our chances for errors. Larry has a very professional attitude. There's no nonsense, because he's a man dedicated wholly to basketball. Efficient, dedicated, no nonsense, professional. That's the Bucks to a T. To them, it was a job. It was what they were good at and what they were relentlessly passionate about.
Ooh, Sky
But it was a
Hook.
job. Take Kareem, for instance. After cementing himself as college basketball's greatest player ever, Lou Alcindor was the prospect of all prospects. In 3
UCLA.
years as a varsity player at UCLA, he had won National Player of the Year awards each season, won 3 championships, and finished his Bruin career with an 88-2 record. Listed at 7'2", but widely acknowledged to be closer to 7'3" or even 7'4", his size alone made him a mismatch for all but the stoutest of centers, like Nate Thurmond and Willis Reed. The young center moved atypically, marked by a veteran sense of where to go and what to do, combined with a level of athleticism that often gets overlooked. Quick, strong, graceful, powerful, exuding pure command of the court through subtlety, without a drop of flair if he could help it. He owned the 70s, racking up 6 Most Valuable Player awards in his first 10 seasons, more than any player has ever won before or since. He ranks...
He won 6 MVPs? damn. And hey, bro, and he had the most points. Let's just not overlook that. I know he gonna say this later in the video, but he did have the most points before LeBron. I think LeBron got it now. But he had the most points though for a long ass time too, bro. like people thought that was not ever gonna be beaten, which is crazy.
It's alongside the greatest rim protectors of all time, with other players remarking at the time that he was the best defender since a prime Bill Russell. Offensively, he could face up, turn over either shoulder, or gain position against nearly all challengers. Oh, and he also had the greatest shot in the history of basketball in his arsenal. The sky hook.
Oh, the sky hook.
Uncontestable, unblockable, unstoppable shot. With a simple flick of the wrist, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had access to the surest 2 points in basketball history. It was a weapon that, combined with the unprecedented...
Let me tell y'all something crazy, bro. When I used to play basketball when I was a kid, bro, before I realized I'm not going to ever be that tall. When I used to play basketball, bro, I was a monster in the blocks. I was better off as a guard. I was built like a guard, but I played like a power forward, like a 3. I was really like a 2, but I played like a 3 hybrid 4, right? My dad, he used to always tell me, bro, you gotta let me show you the best shot you're gonna ever have in your life. And he showed me the hook, the sky hook. And when I was young, I just used to do free throws, sky hooks, and crossovers. That's all I did, right? Bro, I mastered the hook, bro. If I play homies on one-on-one, I'll take them down to the post, hit the sky hook on them, even if they taller than me, and it's money all day. All day. That's why I rock with Kareem and know so much about him, but not so much. But the sky hook, bro. And what was crazy was my jersey number. My jersey number. Hold up, watch this. I'm about to fuck y'all up real quick. You can't even see it. You can't even see it, bro. Damn, you can't see it. Can y'all see that? My jersey number was 33. Shouts out to Kareem. My jersey number was 33, bro. Until I switched it to 21 for another reason. But yeah, man. I used to do that. I used to run that skyhook all day.
Ended length of his career saw Kareem retire as the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. In just his second season as a professional, the young center submitted averages of almost 32 points a game, 16 rebounds a game, 3.3 assists, and shot an unfathomable 57.7% from the field. Cincinnati Royals head coach Bob Cousy said that when trying to stop Kareem, quote, "I guess you could say we alternate strategy and getting down on our knees and praying.
Oh, shit!
There's just not a lot you can do." Those prayers went unanswered. He won the MVP by the largest margin it had ever been won by. It was one of, if not the, greatest seasons in the career of one of, if not the, greatest players of all time.
32-16.
But that level of domination of the sport took its toll. I talked about it when I made the case for Kareem as the GOAT, but it seems like there was a legitimate effect that he had on the game's popularity by being simultaneously its best player while also being one of its least fun to watch. The skyhook was efficient, effective, and replicable, yes, but it was also repetitive, mechanical, and dull. It wasn't thrilling in the slightest to see the best player in the league operate at his highest level. And while Kareem was certainly a cerebral and thoughtful intellectual, few ever got to see it, and even fewer appreciated it. As a player, he was transcendent. As a person, he was endlessly fascinating. But as a celebrity, as an entertainer, he was about as interesting as a Snapple fact. His partner in crime was slightly different. At 6'6", Oscar Robertson was the prototypical big guard. He spent the first 10 years of his career as a member of the Cincinnati Royals, where he proved to be the league's best all-around player. Incomparably well-rounded and versatile, Robertson had the size to rebound and punish defenders in the high post, the physicality to bounce off opponents on drives to the basket, the speed to maneuver around other players, the court awareness of one of the league's premier passers, and is said to have practically invented the fadeaway jump shot. He excelled at every facet of the game.
I didn't know that.
And famously averaged a triple-double in the 1961-62 season, a feat that wouldn't be matched for over 50 years. Despite his tremendous individual accolades, though, his teams struggled to find success in the playoffs, battling to no avail against the teams of Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell.
Bro had a triple-double before the term triple-double was even a thing. They didn't even the term triple-double was coined by Chick Hearn in the 80s and 90s. Or the 80s, I believe. So before the term triple-double even existed, he was getting triple-doubles. A whole season average. That's crazy, bro. You gotta know your history, dog. I know the history, man.
A famously competitive individual, Robertson sought to change his fortunes by demanding nothing less than perfection from his teammates. Possessed by the same fire that would fuel Michael Jordan to 6 championships decades later, Robertson was relentless in his criticism of his teams and of his franchise. Eventually, conflict with the front office reached a tipping point, and Oscar was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks in the summer of 1970. In Milwaukee, Robertson was freed from the burden of being the team's primary scoring option, which allowed him to focus solely on his role as floor general. Though he averaged under 20 points a game for the first time in his career, he finished the season 3rd in assists per game, 11th in the league in field goal percentage, and 2nd in free throw percentage.
Wow.
He thrived by providing veteran leadership to the youthful Bucks, while still stepping up and delivering whatever it was you needed delivered. If you needed a shot, Oscar could make it. If you needed a rebound, Oscar could get it. And if you needed the ball, Oscar could feed you. But his unrelenting nature was not limited to the basketball court. A first-hand witness to the cruelty of racism in the 50s and 60s, Robertson never forgot the injustices done to him. He spoke his mind and never allowed an external force to undermine his pride and confidence. As a result, Oscar's reputation became one of a bitter star, supposedly clinging to grudges that in reality were tragic wrongs that had never truly ended or been repaired.
Shout out Oscar,
He was venerated for
Shout out to Oscar and shout out to Martin Luther King because it was Martin Luther King Day yesterday. I should have did this video yesterday, to be honest. I should have did this video yesterday, but it's okay. Shout out to Oscar, bro, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my Afro brothers out here. You know what I mean?
for his talent, revered by his peers, but he never found himself in the spotlight. Neither did Bobby Dandridge, the team's third best player and one who should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. He was a 4-time All-Star, a 2-time champion, scored more finals points in the 1970s than anyone else,
Wow.
and was arguably the best player on the champion 1978 Baltimore Bullets. For the 71 Bucks, the second-year forward was a certifiable badass, the scrappy two-way demon who did all of the little things. He could score from mid-range with his silky jump shot, get to the cup with his athleticism and quickness, could defend any forward in the league,
Yeah, give me that cookies.
ended up being the team's second leading rebounder, and regularly came up big in crunch time throughout his career. Teamed up with Oscar and Kareem, the team never wanted for any quality from its guard, forward, or center position. Nevertheless, his quality and talent never seemed to get its just due. Understandably overshadowed by his superstar teammates, Dandridge's contributions often went unsung in an era that merits few songs. And as if this wasn't enough, John McLaughlin was the team's resident sharpshooter, sinking shots routinely from distances that would have counted as three-pointers had the line existed.
Wow.
His reliable jumper made him a trusted outlet when Kareem would get doubled, providing McLaughlin with a steady diet of clean, open looks that
I just thought about this. They averaged 118 points in 1971 with no three-pointers. You gotta realize how crazy that is. There's teams in the NBA right now where everybody's shooting threes that don't even average 118 points. They did that in 71, dog. With sky hooks. And mid-range jumpers. Come on, bro.
that he knocked down with ease.
That's crazy.
Head coach Larry Costello was exactly as Kareem described. Efficient, professional, and extremely dedicated. His exploits, though, were often explained away because, as many thought, you don't have to be a great coach to get the most out of this much talent. Never mind the fact that by most accounts, he helped revolutionize film study and game preparation. So it went for the Bucks. Peerless talent, an immaculate record, no holes to speak of, and an inability to enthrall its viewers. Monotonous dominance. But isn't that what dominance is? Isn't true dominance boring? Dominance plays no seventh game. Dominance beats every opponent by 30. Dominance is UConn women's basketball and Alabama football and Murderers Row. It is neither compelling nor interesting.
Fair enough.
It's not fun. It prompts conversations about being unfair, about hurting the sport. Sometimes it is unfair, and it does hurt the sport. That was the Bucks. They were dominant in a way that transcends aesthetic intrigue. They lost just 2 home games all season. They had 3 different double-digit winning streaks of 10, 16, and a then record 20 consecutive wins.
Ooh, shit.
They finished with a 66-16 record, but they lost 5 of their last 6 games because the second best team in the league, the Knicks, finished 52-30. The Bucks clinched the top spot, took their foot off the gas, and still ended up over a dozen games better than the next best team in the league. Every starter ranked in the top 11 players in the league in field goal percentage. In their first round matchup with the Warriors, San Francisco eked out a 2-point victory in Game 4, staving off a 4-game sweep. Accordingly, in Game 5, the Bucks massacred the Warriors in a 50-point victory, the 5th largest blowout in playoff basketball history.
Damn!
Their sweep over the Bullets in the finals was the first championship series sweep in 12 years. If you are judged by the strength of your opponent, the Bucks lose because they faced no opponent. Nobody could contend with them. The ultimate testament to their superiority and an absurd record that still stands, their average margin of victory in the playoffs was 14.5 points. Doesn't all of that start sounding more and more like the greatest team of all time? Yeah, they got breaks, but who doesn't? I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. You win because you take advantage of your advantages. What were they supposed to do? For 8 months, nobody challenged them. Their job was to show up to work and beat the brains out of the team in front of them, which they did. How can you hold what goes on around them against them? How about this? If you want to say that they were lucky and that they got breaks, great, even better. Now, not only are they loaded and talented, but they're lucky too. Take arguably the greatest player ever, pair him up with the second best point guard in history, add in one of the greatest forwards of his era, then toss in complementary and effective role players and an exemplary head coach, and what you get is a team that is so remarkable that it ceases to be memorable. Why don't we talk about the 71 Bucks? Because from start to finish, by nearly every metric, they were the most dominant basketball team ever. Because all they did was beat everyone in front of them so thoroughly and convincingly that they weren't worth talking about. And that is why the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks are the greatest basketball team of all time.
Hey man, I just want to say, I never slept on the Bucks. You know what I mean? I just don't know. I just didn't know a whole lot about like the team, but I never slept on them. Trust me. Like I said, I know what Kareem doing. I know what Oscar was doing. So I know that team. I knew that team was just out here killing it. I just didn't know to what extent. But damn, they killing it, dog. Hold up. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on that 118 points a game with no 3-pointers. I already knew about the skyhook. I knew about Oscar Robbins triple doubles and all that. But even the 14 points per game, I mean, the average win margin, 14 points in the playoffs, killing dudes by 50 points, multiple double-digit runs. That's wild, man. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments, man. Be on the lookout for the next Making the Case, man. And make sure to go check out my 2001 Lakers. Go check that one out. That one needs some more views, man. I feel like people got to watch that because it's my favorite team. If you want to, go watch the Celtics one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm a Laker fan, but go watch the Celtics one too. And be on the lookout for the rest of them. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Remember to keep it real. Real is rare. Real always reaches everyone. Next time. Peace.